Hi, and welcome to the Starr Show. Sometimes on this show we talk about love and relationships. Sometimes we talk about healing and health. And other times we just try to get the most interesting people that we can on the show. And that's what we're doing here today with my friend Vincent. Vincent, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being with me today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Bruce. It's a pleasure.
We're going to have some fun here. If you have an open mind, you're going to learn a little bit about some different aspects of life that are, not mainstream. So, because I don't really know that much about Vincent's childhood, when I interview people, I really want people to know about, well, how did you get here from there? And so, Vincent, tell me a little bit about your childhood.
Well, I grew up basically in what I would call a normal family. I was born with all my spiritual abilities. When I was 3, I had my first vision. When I was 10, I had a vision, what I'd be doing for a living. And it's also the first time I saw my first deceased person. But then I was born into a normal family, and I'm like what you call natural born. In other words, like some of my friends have family members that go back 6, 7 generations or whatever that did this kind of work, or somebody did so they could relate to them. Whereas me, I just built a relationship with spirit. So at night,
it was all new. I mean, you had to introduce this whole way of living to yourself.
Yeah, I had nobody really to relate to, so I had to figure it out myself.
So you mentioned a couple of things. You mentioned things that came to you at an early age. For someone who knows absolutely nothing about you, let's talk more about the things that came to you and how you realized that wasn't quite typical.
Well, because I didn't know anybody else like me, I would experience these things, and then at night, I just started, I guess I'm just laying in bed asking questions like, I wonder why this happened, or how come I saw that, and so the experiences were so cool, and then I would start to hear a voice, and people say, well, how do you know it's not you thinking? I would tell them, well, it's like, ask yourself a question, like, is it going to rain today? And then a different voice says yes or no. So they got familiar with this voice, so we started building a relationship. And I raised it with spirit / God, whoever you believe in. And so we started having conversations at night about this whole experience.
And so how did you interpret this? I mean, did you hear something? Was it an inner voice? Because I know some people can see things, some people can hear things, some people just know things. What was it for you?
It was, I guess, a little bit of everything. I would hear these voices, and then they would just show me stuff. And then I started seeing these things at night, and then I realized, like, the next day or day later, it's like, wait, I saw this in my dream a couple nights ago. So then I started asking questions like, well, how did this happen, or what is that all about? But, it only went so far because I really didn't know. It took a long time for me to kind of understand what was going on. I didn't know if anybody else could do it. And I always kept to myself because I didn't, grew up in an old Italian family. You don't want to be like, hey, I saw someone there. Why is grandma standing over the corner? So I just kind of kept it to myself a lot.
So what happened from there? When did you start saying, maybe not everyone is hearing this or seeing this, and when did it start making sense for you?
Well, I used to have different experiences where I see things. I'd walk by somebody, I could tell them, I would know something, I think, should I tell them? And then, so I started getting more curious and wanted to know what else was going on. So at 30, I started seeing deceased people everywhere, all over the place. And
seeing them?
Yeah, they look like regular persons standing there. Like one time I was in the back of a department store, like let's just say Marshall's, one of those places kind of just like a regular clothes store. And I was in the back, and I had Lisa. I went up front really quick, and this family came by. I went to go by, and when I stopped, I spun around because there was an old woman walking there. I went, oh, excuse me, when I turned around, I was talking to a clothes rack. It was her deceased grandmother in human form. So it wasn't until one day, I met a girl, and we became friends. She goes, "Hey, I'm gonna go get a reading. You want to get one?" I'm like, "Ooh, what's that?" "Well, I'm gonna go see the psychic friend." "Ooh, psychic? I never met one of those." And I went to see this woman, and all of a sudden she realized who I was, what I could do, and we built a relationship, and she became my mentor. So she's kind of like the one that helped me understand. So it was just a series of, I don't know, just things that just, I don't want to say coincidence, but just series of events, that's it, that happened, that led up to that point. And then we just started spending a lot of time together. And she finally, after 4 or 5 times getting together, say 4 or 5 weeks, kind of explained to me what was going on. We started comparing notes. I'm like, I said, "Well, I do this." She goes, "I do that." And then she says, "I do this." I said, "Well, I can do that." And then she had me go meet a friend of hers who was a part of this church organization called the Alliance of Divine Love. She goes, "Go meet this person. You have to meet her." Then, so I went inside, I took this course to become ordained minister, but she became my mentor. So all these older women now started taking me under their wings and explaining what I could do.
That's so important. To have
Yeah.
someone with history and experience and know-how to be able to take someone with natural talent and kind of form them and shape them without changing them, but
Right.
form them and shape them so that they can go in the best direction possible. Wow.
You know, it's funny 'cause the first one, the one that ordained me, she was around for a while, and then when we were done together after like 12 weeks, there was so much time we spent together. Then she got sick and retired and passed on. Then my mentor got me to a certain level and pointed these different directions where I was going. She's like, well, some of the last things she told me is, "I see you moving north and west." And then she said, "But you're gonna stop somewhere in the middle of Florida, a little to the west again." And that's exactly what happened. And it was like a long time after. Left here, went to visit my family, lived in Central Florida, an hour north of Orlando, right in the little state. And I left there and I went to Asheville, North Carolina, which is up north and then west. And then she got to the point where I guess it was time for her to translate, so she moved on. So now I like mentoring. I get the pleasure of working with kids, and I like to mentor them. I mean, 8, 9-year-old kids that are like psychics and mediums and healers, and you know. And I've tested them because people say, "Come meet my kid. You got to see this amazing person." And the good thing is it's so mainstream now that, you know,
It's
parents are
exciting.
like, "Yeah, like, ooh, isn't that before when, you know, you would
You
hide
had to
it?"
hide it. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, now it's just so mainstream that people are like, "Yeah, what can my kid do? What can my little boy?" So then I have to work on, but I have to teach them there's boundaries. Because they come in to these gifts, I'm like, you know, you can't just, one little boy is like, I'm like, look, you can't just go up and be healing people without asking them. You know, you really need permission before you can go touching people. Because, you know, as humans, we have free will. And I've met people that just didn't want to be healed, didn't want their life changed, because they related to the pain, they related to the situation they were in. You know, it's kind of like a sympathy thing, came their identity. So then I work with these kids, I explain boundaries, but I also explain to them what, you know, possibilities are. But basically, you know, possibilities are endless.
So my wife and I call you a modern day wizard. Does that resonate with you?
Yeah, I have a friend, like, we've known each other, like, I'm just an old soul, I've been around for, like, you know, some people believe in reincarnation, some don't, but if you believe in reincarnation, I've been around since way, way back, past the days of Atlantis. And I recently met a friend who we used to spend time together back then, and he said to me one day, he said, "You know, there's very few true wizards left anymore, old people like us, like mystics." And it also comes our responsibility, because I've been told too many times, "Oh, you know, you can't save the world." And I'm like, well, why not? But not everybody wants to be saved. And in the Buddhist belief, you come into this life with these injuries, with these situations, to experience it, to learn from it. And only when you've learned what you came into is the only time that somebody like me can heal you. But, so I kind of agree and I don't agree. Sometimes that can hold you back. Because you can take on this situation, you can just hold on to it. And you think, well, okay, well, this is my life, to be, you know, depressed, to be alone, to be sick, to be injured. And it's really not. So there's a group of people, we call ourselves awakeners, that help people to realize, okay, you know what, that's the past, that's done. Okay, let's move on, let's clear your life, and let's, you know, become who you're supposed to be, because when these situations lift, is when a lot of people really awaken in different situations. Like, I know a lot of people, successful psychics and TV shows and on the radio and everything, but they all had to go through some sort of illness or injury to bring them to that point. Like, they kind of like, it's like you get taken down and you realize and you come back. Or for whatever reason, I still can't figure it out.
But that didn't happen with you. You were never debilitated or in a...
No, I mean, there were times when I got confused and I had maybe a regular job and I kind of hid from it because I didn't understand it, because it was all the time. You walk by somebody, you could see something, you could hear something, or whatever. You know something's going to happen to somebody. And then I just got tired of just hiding. And then, fortunately, at the same time as that happened, I met my mentor. And then everything just, it was like a weight lifted.
So let's do this, Vincent. Let's talk about the different kind of, just for a better word, modalities, or the different methods, or the different aspects of your work that you enjoy, that you're confident in. And let's just describe to the audience the different things that you do, so that when someone says to themselves, I really need someone who can, by watching this, they might say, oh my God, it's just what I'm looking for.
Right. Okay, well, like I said, when I used to be, when I was younger, I used to see things at night. But I used to be over quiet about it. And then it got to where it happened all the time. And then I'm like, well, I wonder what else is going on. And then I started seeing deceased people. Then I'm like, well, I wonder what else is going on. You know, what else can I do? So one day after the hurricanes back in 2004, I went to visit a friend out west of town. And we were hanging out and talking. She said that somebody she knew had been in a car accident and was afraid that they were going to need open heart surgery. So I left there and I drove all the way over east, you know, to 95 to go up to Palm Beach Gardens. And as I'm driving, I asked my guy, I said, can't you guys do something? Can you help her out? And it was quiet, and the voice said, you do it. Yeah, it's your turn, you do it. So I'm driving, and all of a sudden, all I can see is like, there's this like patio, it's this big stone patio, and there's this big pool of water. And there's this big wall, and then I'm on the other side of the wall, and everything's all just pure white. And I could see this girl laying on the bed, and I'm looking down at her going, okay, what am I supposed to do? And at the same time, these two nurses came in, like, say from like World War I, with the hats and the way the clothes were. And they looked at her and looked at me and said, okay, you can leave. I'm like, but I was told to do it. They said, no, we're going to do it. I said, well, yeah, but they said, no, leave now. And I woke up and I was sitting in front of the Palm Beach, or the Palm Beach Gardens Mall. Somehow Spirit had taken me there while I was in this, because I'm in this trance state and I'm doing like 60 miles an hour down the highway. I think, okay, that was scary. But, you know, it just happened. So a week later, I go to see a friend of mine, you know, the one that's back on West Side. I said, say, how'd your friend make out? She goes, oh, it was amazing. They didn't need open heart surgery after all. So I go back, driving down, get on 95, heading to the gardens again. And I no longer get on 95, and all of a sudden, I can start getting real sleepy. Like, I'm just like, all of a sudden I'm out. And I can see 95, and there's an angel standing there holding a sign. But I couldn't read what it said, and then I was looking at it, and the voice said, the young girl with the open heart surgery said, thanks. And then I was like way up the road. And I've been doing healing work ever since. So then I said, okay, what else can I do? And one Thursday night, I was sitting at my computer, and it said, sit back when I show you something. And they took me on this journey with them. All the way up, there's these different dimensions. Like we exist, this world we live in is called a dimension or realm. I call it realm. But there's all these different ones. So what they did, and people say, well, there's endless ones, there's over here. Well, what they did for the purpose of this thing was to stack them, to align them, like 13 different ones. And then the highest one would be like if you were like knocking on God's door, his front door, like it's like this highest realm. And So during this journey, we go through all these different dimensions. We go through heaven, or some people go to the other side, the spirit world. We go through the fairy realm, or the elemental realm, where there's fairies and elves and gnomes. And in these different dimensions, you know, we stop and you can get advice from somebody. You know, we go up there, spirit takes us, and all our spirits go up. It's called a guided journey. So what happens is we do this thing where I get you to relax, I get you to calm down. And while you're in this process, I'll align all of your chakras, which are all these different energy points in your body. Then there's multiple levels of energy which surround your body, and we condense those so they should be okay. There is this largest energy field around you, which makes who you are. It's called your aura. So we align these, and then as that process going on, when I call spirit, and one of the angels, the angelic beings comes, and we go on this journey. Spirit takes us up. We go through all these different dimensions. So we stop at these so you can experience them and maybe get some healing work done. And we go all the way to the highest dimension. And it's this place that existed a long time ago, before everything was created. And it's just where we go up there and we meet your guides, your higher self. And they do all this work, whatever natural, artistic, spiritual ability you want enhanced is you know, taken to the next level. So anyway, you can meet somebody and they can do, like, maybe do a little reading. Some people do with cards, some without cards, some do tarot. And they can tell your future. Then some people can do what's called a medium reading, where they bring in you from a past life or family members. Just any depth of some things that exist on the other side can come in to give you messages. Or you can do healing work. Now some people embrace it, some won't. You know, some do Reiki, some do like where they touch. Like I'm ordinary minister, so sometimes I might, you know, put my hands over you, I might touch you. You know, my energy comes through my hands a lot. There's a lot of different aspects, and some people embrace one and do it, and that's all they do. They do it really well. And maybe some do a few things. I was just always curious. Like, what else can I do? What else can I do?
So what's the last thing that kind of surprised you that you hadn't really known that you can do? What's that the latest thing that you kind of came across?
It's to be able to take these different dimensions and let them work on themselves. Like I'll say, okay, we're going to go into heaven, and you're going to, as we come in this dimension, because what I do is I tell people, okay, when you find something you're going to feel comfortable riding in, it's like going from the basement of a high-rise building all the way to penthouse. You know, we're going to go up through these different floors, these different dimensions. So you sit in something you'll feel comfortable in, like some kind of vehicle. And we get these places, I say, okay, here's the deal now. We're in heaven. Now, what you can do is walk around and visualize. You can see if you can get a message from somebody, or maybe you can get some healing work done. So now this takes it off of me and everybody else. Now they have the option. You know, then we go to the fairy realm. Well, you know, the fairies do amazing healing work. The gnomes do amazing healing work. So it's just that I've been awakening people, and you know, they're kind of like self-clearing, learning them like, look, you can clear this stuff yourself. You know, you don't need anybody else. Just envision yourself sitting up here. You know, then we go up, and there's a new thing they've been showing me. It's called the Bank of the Universe. And imagine you're looking out into space, and you see this big vault, or a big door to the bank. No, you have the opportunity to sit in front of it and say, you know what? I would like $1 million. I would like better health. I would like to meet somebody. I would like, and whatever you choose, you can put at the end. And people say, well, doesn't everybody ask for the same thing? No, they don't. And you're talking about the door opens up, it's the universe. Not everybody says, hey, you know, I'd like $1 million. Not everybody wants to meet. Maybe some people say, you know, I wish I had a car. I wish I had my own house. I wish I had. And there's not many people. So I think just to be able to get people the path to do it themselves. Look, come up here and stand in front of the bank and say, I would like. It's like you're walking on the beach, you find a vase, and you rub the thing, and the genie comes out and says, what would you like? Or you take a deposit slip, you go to the bank and say, okay, I need $100. Teller hands you. Genie says, what is your wish, and grants it. That's the same thing with the Bank of the Universe. Just envision yourself in this nice, quiet place, and there it is, the wall, the door, bank, whatever you want to envision it as. So I'm trying to get people to go to these different places themselves and heal. You know, so it's kind of like, I'm the tour guide. It's like, well, you can do this stuff yourself. You know, we can take you to highest dimension, you can do, you know, learn how to do readings, learn how to be a better, I've taken people, that's all they want to be is a better painter, a better writer. So I think that's like so exciting, and that's mostly what I focus on now, is doing that.
So I went through one of your, it's not a class, one of your
It's like a session.
session.
Yeah.
And there was about 10 of us in there. And you had one of your copper energy.
Oh, the rings, yeah.
Yeah, the ring. And the last thing I remember was you touching the top of my head. I felt it on my hair. And I was out. And I know I wasn't asleep because I heard you say, okay, when you're ready, open up your eyes. Now, when you're sleeping, you're not going to hear somebody say,
Right.
okay, open up your eyes. I was out. What the heck happened? Where did I go? Do we know?
Yeah, no, it's, what's amazing about that is like, that you're not so deep that you can't wake up, but you're deep enough if you follow it. Because I've done this on people and they say, well, you know, it's not for me, or I don't get it, I'm not ready yet, and they'll get up and leave. But if you embrace it, and we get all the way to the top, and I start putting my hands around your head, and all around your body, and your throat, to clear your chakras, you know, it kind of opens a gateway for this work to get done. Now, I tell people, don't tell me why you're going, so I don't really care. It's not my business why we're going up. You know, they already know why you're coming, because you're giving up free will, so by the time you get up there, you've already had this conversation. You know, your higher self knows already why you're coming. Or they know, the ascended master that does this work, Lord Melchizedek, knows why you're coming. I just kind of guide you up and say, okay, you can go this way. And I push people this way, and they drift off somewhere. You know, they go off in their own dimension, their own place somewhere. And all I do is just bring you up, bring you down. I mean, I can get messages up there from your higher self, or the you that might be blocked. But the one mess I've been getting a lot lately is that people want to be more spiritual, want to be more in tune with the universe, but they don't put any effort into it. It's like once in a while they sit and they go, oh, you know, I had a vision. And then they go off to work to go to their thing, but I told you, if you flipped it around, the first thing in the morning, get up, just sit for a minute before you open your eyes even, just relax and meditate. Okay, bring me just feel that peace of the night when there's nothing in you. I also tell people to keep, you know, a pad and paper around, because as soon as before you open your eyes, you should jump up. Like I'm up at 2, 3, 4 in the morning writing. But I tell people, it's like, make that your priority. If you're at work, run to the bathroom and just meditate. Okay, I want to know, what do I need to know intuitively to get me through the day? You know, you don't have to do work, unless you want to help other people, but a lot of people I do this on just want to do it for themselves or with their family. So if you make that the priority, live in that, and then split it between the regular day job or the kids or whatever you're doing, then you find this balance and you're more spiritual and you're more aware. Because when you're more in tune, when you're more intuitive, then you're like one step ahead of everybody else. Because people are going, well, should I buy this car? Is this guy with me? You know, is this doctor any good? You'll know because you get in tune before you go in. That, you know, so before you can do anything, just sit and just think about it for a minute. Just, okay, give me the best advice. Is this a good decision to make? And, you know, and then just go with it. And your first gut instinct, first thing you hear is, you know, almost always right. I still listen to my gut instinct. My gut told me. That's because thoughts don't come from up here. They come from down in here. You know, your brain can process thoughts, pull them in, but it doesn't create thoughts. That's why the expression, your gut instinct. There's a little party down here, one of your chakras down here, that controls your thoughts, creates them.
That's something new.
Yeah, so if you go, your gut instinct says, no, then it's no.
I know if you get a little gut punch or if you feel really uncomfortable, get a little bit of a stomach ache, to me, 99 out of 100 times, that's a negative. That's a no. If
Right.
you're going in the wrong direction with the wrong girl, trying to make money the wrong way, whatever it is, if you're getting doubled over in pain, you'd better
Yeah.
stop and
Yeah.
really think about what you're doing.
Yeah, you say, it just doesn't feel right, so you have to tell people to just try and like, it was like, I have a couple of friends and we play this yes-no game. Somebody will sit across, think of a question. You have to say yes or no real quick, like what are they thinking? So I thought, do that with yourself. Should I go out with this person? Yes or no? And see which one feels right. Now some people do the, with the muscle testing where you can sit and you go,
Right. Or
or the pendulum,
Pendulum.
yeah. You can always test it, is it going to snow today? No. Is it going to be sunny today? Yes. I thought a friend of mine doing it. She's not very spiritual at all, so I told her to do that. It's easy as muscle test. There's a million ways to do it.
So I like what you just did. If your fingers stay strong, it's a yes?
Is it, if they stay together, is it going to snow today? No. Is it going to be sunny? Yes. And they pop open.
Oh.
Don't even think about it. Just say, is it going to, be sunny today? Yes.
It's very valuable. So I'm going to put you on the spot here a little bit, because on my shows, when I can, I really like it to be, instead of just telling people what you do, if we can, I'd love to see an example. I'd love to work and see examples of what you do. For instance, is there anyone, do you feel any energy in this room right now? And we don't have to go there,
Right.
but I find it so much more interesting to be kind of interactive with the audience. And
Yeah,
kind of-
I don't think I've ever been in a house where there wasn't a
Wasn't.
spirit. It could be like somebody used to own the house, but they're usually very angry. Sometimes it could be a deceased relative. A lot of like grandmothers, grandfathers, aunts that passed away. Like somebody, they weren't really close with an aunt. I just know a grandmother. And when they passed, she wanted to be in the house all the time. And I'm like, well, you can't do that. You can't. I know, a spouse that died, and all, they weren't very close or very nice, and all of a sudden they want to be in the house all the time. It's like, well, you don't have that right. You can apologize, but you can't. So sometimes I have to send these people into the light. And what I do is I say, okay, you can go into the light, or I'm going to bring you into the light. And then what I was taught to do is to surround them in a platinum bubble, or to get them to go into it. And the first of it is because not everybody that dies just automatically goes to heaven. Nobody says, oh, look, there's the light, I got it, and they run into it. They're like, what's that? What's on the other side? No, I want to stay here. Not everybody goes, just either they just don't understand why, because a lot of people die suddenly. A heart attack, boom, something happens, boom, car accident, boom. Or unresolved issues, and they want to stay here. So that's why I have to go and say, okay, look, the family says you can stay, or the family says no, they prefer you went into the light. So I'm going to put a little bubble over here, I'm going to slowly put it around you, and it's going to feel comforting. And at first they get a little nervous, and then they're like, and they say, then they'll go up a little bit, and then often they just get like ducked up. Like this big hand or something will come up and pull them up into heaven. So, yeah, but that's a big thing, is not everybody goes into the light. Fear, don't want to go. Some people don't understand that they died. Like car accidents, it's like. But no, the energy here feels good. I don't, I think there might be somebody, but it just could be one of our guys, but there's somebody sitting on the couch over here watching us. But I don't think it's anything, there's nothing to worry about. Because when it is, they won't just sit like that. Things will move, things will fly across the room. It's like, because there's like the angry ones. Like sometimes we'll go in a house where somebody had died in it, or the house was taken from them, foreclosed on, or the family just sold it out from underneath them, whatever, put them in a nursing home. they tend to get angry, and they try and make little things happen. Lights go on and off, they knock things over.
I've never really had that experience
Yeah.
before, of unexplainable lights going. But I did actually have something happen to me. My mom had a stroke, and she passed on. But the minute that I was racing to the hospital 6 days later, and the minute that she passed, a huge lightning bolt, this was up in Melbourne, I never saw such a thick lightning bolt, came down out of the heavens right in front of me. And I found out that's exactly when she died. And I thought right away that was some sort of sign. And then another interesting thing, when my dad's mom passed, we were sitting in an apartment complex like this, and the lights never flicker. It's an apartment complex. They're either going to stay on or they're going to go off.
Right, yeah.
The lights started flickering. And maybe 20 minutes later or 15 minutes later, my dad got a call that his mom passed away. She was in an old age home. So I always remember those examples.
Yeah, there's little signs. You had a friend, he was sick with cancer, and his sister told me that as he started getting really sick, there was an owl that sat out on a tree branch, a bit of fence outside of his house. And those, they have different purposes, but that's usually a sign. I think they kind of help people transition after they die. So if you see an owl outside, and it was a crazy place where it'd be an owl. It was like, I think it was on the east end of town, down like Forest Hill Boulevard somewhere. I don't think you expect to see an owl sitting over there. Yes, there's different little signs that people go. But I found that, like, if I talk to them, I get them to calm down. Sometimes a family member will come and help them transition into the light. So there's a lot of different answers. If people out there are curious about, well, what can I do? What do I do? There's really, like, it's endless what you can do spiritually.
But they need to find someone who can kind of be a mentor to them, and
right.
Because they can't just do that. I want to do this.
Right.
I used to read books by Ruth Montgomery. You familiar with Ruth?
Yeah.
She automatic writing. I always wanted to do that, but if I never found a mentor that can just sit me down there and say, "Look, this is what you have to do, and you'll be able to do it." So,
yeah, that's what you need to find as a mentor. Somebody you can ask questions of, and somebody you can go compare notes with. You know where you are. You gotta, And the best way to do that, if there's a spiritual thing that you're into, is there's a lot of meetup groups. When I was up in North Carolina, it was a meetup group, and this one was for empaths and something else. I forgot, but it was a very basic group. I mean, these people I had no idea. So he would, get into, they would do a meditation. He would speak to them about,